OPPO Find X9 Ultra did not disappoint me. It truly is a great camera phone. After taking it with me on a 5-day trip to Japan and shooting over 1,000 photos, I could truly feel just how impressive its strengths really are. Of course, I also discovered quite a few weaknesses, so let's take a look at the sample shots while analyzing the camera performance of the Find X9 Ultra. Since master mode tends to reduce shutter time, the photos usually look slightly underexposed. Combined with vignetting and less post-processing, the images end up looking more cinematic. Photos taken at dusk also look much closer to what your eyes actually see, while their default mode makes it feel like the sun never went down. But the downside is that sometimes the exposure gets pushed too low, making sunny days look like a cloudy weather. As for the default mode, its characteristics are very aggressive HDR, heavy sharpening, and highly saturated colors. Well, sometimes it really does make your photos look better with sharper details and a higher dynamic range. But it depends on the scene, and sometimes it completely ruins the shot. For example, the excessive HDR processing can make daytime photos look flat, and even the sun no longer feels blinding. At night, colorful artifacts can also show up in the shadow areas. Based on my experience of taking over 1,000 photos, I still recommend using master mode for daily shooting and only switching back to the default mode when the scene doesn't suit it. Because honestly, after looking at too many high contrast and over-sharpened photos, it really feels like they are assaulting my eyes. So if I didn't point it out, every photo shown in this video was taken using master mode. Although the sensor has become smaller and the lens is not glass anymore, the image quality has not regressed. You can still take photos with extremely shallow depth of field. Though sometimes shallow depth of field is not necessarily a good thing, especially when shooting food. Thankfully, this time the main camera is a 200 megapixel, so OPPO added a new option, high resolution mode. Once enabled under good lighting conditions, the photos you take will be 28 megapixel. This allows the camera to fully take advantage of the high resolution sensor. There's honestly not much else to say. This main camera is simply one of the best camera available right now, and it can capture what you want in almost any situation reliably. For example, the photo I just showed was taken in an environment where I could barely see anything with my own eyes. Under conditions like that, only the main camera could capture the black cat walking by at night. Because this new 10x optical telephoto lens requires light to go through fine reflections before reaching the sensor, theoretically, its optical quality was never going to be amazing. And in practice, that's exactly the case. If you zoom in and inspect any photo taken with this lens, you can almost always find the red or green outlines appearing around object edges. Since chromatic aberration exists, spherical aberration naturally exists as well. Simply put, the image just doesn't look sharp enough. And if you're using master mode, the photos can end up looking like they have a soft diffusion filter applied. So it's obvious that the bottleneck of this camera is not the sensor, but the lens itself. Compared to the Samsung S23 Ultra, this telephoto camera only wins by a very narrow margin in image quality. The scenarios where this high-resolution sensor truly shines are cloudy weather or scenes beyond 230mm. Without harsh lighting, the aberration issues become much less noticeable, and thanks to in-sensor zoom, it can extend to 460mm, making bird photography barely usable as well. Even though I complained quite a bit about the aberration problems earlier, realistically, if you don't zoom in, you probably won't notice them at all. And once the photos are uploaded to social media, nobody will notice those tiny flaws anyway. In reality, I'm still pretty satisfied with this lens. It may not be perfect, but it genuinely allows me to capture more distant scenery. But have you ever thought about this question? Under what circumstances would you even photograph such distant objects in pitch black environment? So even though it does perform better than a Samsung at night, I honestly think that the advantage is meaningless. Between the ultra-long telephoto camera and the main camera, OPPO chose a 200 megapixel sensor as the transition camera. But with an aperture this large, calling it a transition camera doesn't really feel appropriate. In fact, out of all 4 cameras, this one is my favorite. With its massive sensor size and huge aperture, this is the best 70mm camera ever made on a smartphone. Just like the main camera, it delivers professional camera-level background blur. At a 6x zoom, image sharpness drops slightly, but is still acceptable. Most telephoto cameras struggle badly at night, but the Find X9 Ultra does not. This camera can still produce satisfying results at night. For example, in this photo taken at dusk, both the White House nearby and the signal tower in the distance remain incredibly sharp. Just like the main camera, I genuinely cannot find anything to complain about this 70mm camera. It is simply one of the best smartphone cameras ever made. The ultra-wide camera is slightly better than the one on the Find X8 Ultra, but compared to the other 3 cameras, it feels pretty bad. Purple fringing is quite severe. Even without backlighting, you can still spot purple edges once you zoom into the corners of the image. And if you combine backlighting with scenes full of detail, the results become terrible. This once again proves that the bottleneck, just like the 10x telephoto camera, lies in the lens rather than the sensor. At night, the gap between this camera and its siblings becomes even larger. Besides the obvious loss in sharpness, the lack of OS also dramatically increases the number of blurry shots. The only solution is to take multiple photos and hope one of them comes out sharp. Although this ultra-wide camera drags the whole system down, I can understand OPPO's decision. During my trip, only about 10% of my photos were actually taken with this camera. Even when facing extremely grand scenery, the main camera's 23mm focal length was already wide enough. Sacrificing the ultra-wide camera in exchange for more space for the telephoto system was honestly a smart decision. Unfortunately, OPPO's photography kit and the telephoto converter are not sold separately this time. If you want them, together with the 1TB version of the phone, you will have to spend nearly $1,800. I'm not rich, so I didn't buy it, but I did get some hands-on experience with the kit at an OPPO store. My first impression was this: compared to practicality, it gives you far more emotional value. Although the teleconverter is only 300mm, it is physically larger and longer than Vivo's 400mm one. The grip and the phone case are made in one piece, but the grip itself is very thin, making it difficult to hold such a heavy phone securely. The only buttons are the shutter key and zoom lever, and it connects via Bluetooth. There's no doubt that the design is ahead of both Xiaomi and Vivo, but in terms of practicality, it also ranks last. Considering the Find X9 Ultra already has a 230mm camera and the global version could potentially exceed $2,000, I'd still recommend saving your money for the hard time in life instead. So how was it? These are the video clips I captured during my trip using the Find X9 Ultra. Every clip was recorded in 4K 30fps, converted from O-Log 2 back to Rec 709 without any color grading. I set the bitrate to the highest, so every clip basically exceeded 75 Mbps. For a smartphone, this level of stabilization plus such clear image quality is already top tier. But there are still some flaws. For example, the telephoto camera occasionally shows slight jitter, and once again, this ultra-wide camera drags everything down. Not only does it still suffer from purple fringing, but its dynamic range is also noticeably weaker. Even enabling O-Log 2 cannot recover the highlights. At night, the image quality also drops dramatically with noise dancing all over the screen. You can clearly see how massive the gap becomes once I switched back to the main camera. But aside from that, I'm still very satisfied with the video quality from the other cameras. In the past, whenever I traveled and wanted a full focal length photography experience, I had to carry a massive lens bigger than this one. But now, OPPO has given us another option. The Find X9 Ultra is the first true all focal length covered smartphone I had ever seen. I believe the core of smartphone photography can be summoned in one word: convenience. Even its image quality cannot surpass a mirrorless camera. It allows you to carry fewer lenses, climb taller mountains, travel to more places, and meet more people. That is the truth of a smartphone photography. And this phone is the ultimate device that fully embodies that philosophy. Alright, that's everything for this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave a like. I'm Will from Gizmochina. I will see you next time.